Hello everyone, my name is PolishLynx. Let's continue Everlasting Summer. There were about a dozen pioneers at the square. Where did they all come from, I wonder? I approached Slavia. Hi there. Oh hi, you've come to help? Well, not of my own free will, of course. I thought it over again. I see. Take this broom. Your area is right next to the monument. Frankly speaking, there was nothing to sweep there. It seemed pretty clean to me. For some rubbish was still lying around. After sweeping for a while, I came back to Slavia, who was sitting on a bench and taking a break. What a nice day, eh? Yeah, though it's a bit too hot. She shaded her eyes with her hand and looked up at the sky. You're like a tireless worker of communist labor. Oh, come on. I just like to help others. That's good. And what about you? What about me? Well, it seems to me that you find community service a bit of a burden. Well, probably. Why is that? I don't really know. Seriously, she can't expect me to just unload all my ideas concerning this point on her. She might drown in them, God forbid. Maybe you just don't like company. That's actually quite possible. There was some truth in Slavia's words. I suppose that she was good at reading other people's minds. Or at least at reading mine. For how can that be possible if even I find it hard to understand myself at times? What are you going to do when this session is over? What do you mean? Well, are you going to enter college? Or do you want to master a profession? In USSR, a person finishing the high school typically had to choose between either getting a college degree, typically achieving a status of engineer or scientist, or going into a secondary vocational school, thus mastering a profession. I've already achieved Grand Mastery at all of my professions, watching anime and surfing the internet. I don't know yet. What about you? We have a small farm back home, so I want to help my parents there. It sounded pretty strange. Are there any private farms in the USSR where all the farming has to be collective? But I decided not to go into details. And what are your parents doing? My parents were not good subject for discussion. It is not that my parents are not good, quite the opposite, they are kind-hearted people. But it's not the right time for such a discussion. My father works at the local council and my mother is a teacher. That wasn't actually true. More like half true. Cool. She really seemed to consider that a cool thing. I guess so. The conversation had reached a dead end, so I was trying to take my eyes off Slavia and kept gazing under my feet, up in the sky or just looking around. You know, I'm pretty sure you'll also be fine. Slavia looked at me thoughtfully. Now, what was that for? And what was that also about? Thanks, I mumbled. But what do you mean? I suppose that you happen to be too pessimistic at times. Isn't that way too straightforward? Maybe. But you're gonna be alright. Maybe. After this conversation I felt ill at ease. On the one hand, there was nothing special in her words. In general, almost any person in Slavia's shoes would come to a similar conclusion. Nevertheless, I felt, and not for the first time, like she could see right through me. So, let's get to cleaning. She smiled and took the broom. I never thought that cleaning could bring such a deep pleasure. No, I wasn't upset because of this conversation. On the contrary, I was glad to hear that from her. For the first time ever, somebody was discussing my life without criticizing me, without giving any stupid advice based on their own personal experience, without intending to go through my head and without making some far-reaching conclusions. I was just glad that somebody supported me. No, that's not quite right. I was just glad that Slavia supported me. In a short while the music played around the camp, calling us for lunch. I put away the broom with a sigh of relief and a sense of accomplishment and went to the canteen. Who is marching forward in a row? It is our pioneer squad. Pioneer in a row usually march to the canteen in a Sovyonok camp. I was looking for a place where no one would disturb me, like what happened before. Just so I can eat in peace. And for that I have to at least not be the last one to come. But I was pretty sure. Whatever happens here happens whether I want it or not. The canteen was crammed as full as an egg. Olga Dmitrievna was standing at the entrance, guarding it like a hawk. Well, Semyon, were you working hard today? Hard enough. Well done, truly well done, and the hardest is yet to come. I just bet. Fine, take a seat next to the girls. She pointed at the table next to the pillar. Slavia, Uliana and Lena were already sitting there. Not bad company. At least not the worst. I got my meal and went up to them. Do you mind if I sit here? I got myself sounding a bit clueless. There were no other free places anyway. No, of course not. Please do. Lena remained silent. Today the meal consisted of a plate of borscht. I suspected there was some meat lurking in it, but I had no evidence. Some poultry, chances are chickenus domesticus, with fried potatoes and a traditional glass of compote. I found myself liking the local food more and more. I guess I just came to the conclusion that I had no other choice, which means that there is no use in complaining. Thank God there's something to eat. Coming to the ball tonight? I don't know. He'll come! He got nowhere to go! Uliana said happily. You will come for sure. Of course! I can't miss the opportunity to watch you make a fool of yourself! She got it right, so I decided not to reply. And what about you? I asked Lena. Yes, she replied briefly. See, you should go too then, said Slavia as if leaving me no choice. Don't forget to wear your tailcoat. Apparently Uliana was so pleased with her joke that she laughed out loud. But I really had nothing to wear. My wardrobe was just a pioneer uniform and my winter clothes, which would be inappropriate even in the evening. And what will you be dressed in, entertainer? Secret. Will it be a little dress just like in the kindergarten's matinee? Uliana turned red. Looks like I managed to offend her. No, I will wear a biohazard suit, just so I don't catch an infection from you. I wonder what kind of infection are you afraid of catching from me? Enough, you guys, don't quarrel. Idiocy, of course. Looks like Uliana was highly pleased with her, as she thought brilliant answered again. You know, if you already have the flu, you can't catch a cold. Two can play at that game. What are you implying? Nothing at all. I look away slyly. Do you mean that? She went red again. I don't mean anything. Guys! Given that it was Lena who interfered, it probably really was time to stop. You're asking for it! You're gonna get it! What? You will finally wise up? Instead of replying, Uliana grabbed her plate filled with her borscht and tipped it over my head. This game met an unexpected finale. You little... She jumped up and tried to run away. But this time she won't get away. I grabbed her hand. And now what? I can just smash her head against the table. This pantomime lasted a few seconds. Suddenly Uliana skillfully grabbed a glass full of compote and splashed it in my face. That way she managed to get free of my grip. She dashed off towards the counter and I chased her. This resulted in several flipped tables, a pile of smashed tableware, 5 pioneers crippled by various injuries and full exhaustion of both parties. A draw, sort of. A belligerent draw. With too much belligerence. We stood before each other and breathed heavily. Tell me you won't behave this way again. And you? Olga Dmitrievna snuck up on us from behind. When you think about it, such a riot couldn't go unnoticed. Well, are you satisfied with yourselves now? Her voice appeared to be calm, but I was sure she was just about to explode. And who's gonna clean up all this mess? Exactly what happened. Who, I'm asking you, who? Him! Replied Uliana with complete confidence. Her. I objected less confidently. Both! The camp leader brought a conclusive end to this ongoing argument. Generally, I wasn't sure that my share of the blame is more than hers. Although Uliana didn't have a drop of guilt on her face. Beat it! I'm not clean, ain't nobody got time for that! This is his fault, he started it first! No, it isn't. Oh yeah, it is! I'm not going to sort out all this nonsense. Semyon, go grab him a bucket, some clothes. You know, that kind of stuff in the closet. And as for you... She looked at Uliana with such a burning gaze that I felt a bit sorry for the girl. You! Start to pick the broken tableware immediately! Olga Dmitrievna took a deep breath and continued. You're in nothing but trouble! How many times have I told you? I decided to skip the lecture and went to the closet that appeared to be near the exit. Suddenly a perfect idea flashed in my head. Why don't I just run away? Sure, Olga Dmitrievna has caught us already, but I'm not the one to blame. Of course, I'm not the true pioneer she keeps talking about, but in comparison to Uliana... Anyway, she's the principal culprit. It's not like I have nothing better to do than cleaning up the mess here. I have to seek answers. The truth is out there, somehow flashed through my mind. Run away, stay and help Uliana with cleaning up. Run away. The solution came out of thin air, whatever. While Olga Dmitrievna was calling Uliana, I snuck to the exit. Thank goodness it was nearby. Sleeping outside, I hesitated for a few moments and ran into electronic. Looks like he was working till late at the club. Where's the fire? Fire. My shuttle is leaving in 10 minutes. What? Hey, wait! Electronic's words hang in the air behind me. I ran off towards the square. It's definitely not the best place to hide. Indeed, in a state of stress or fatigue, I frequently start talking to myself. Well, not really talking, but rather mumbling under my breath. It helps me to concentrate and find the right solution quickly. Okay, where to next? Where should I go? The best place would be the one with the least amount of people. Consequently, my way lies in the woods. Half a minute later, I was already relaxing, sitting on a stump near the forest trail. That was one hell of a getaway. I hope that will teach Uliana to behave. Indeed, she's not a child anymore. Well, sad, but true. Not a child anymore. Now, a thought crossed my mind. I might have sort of mishandled the whole situation. A fair share of that broken tableware goes with me. Moreover, one might mention that I didn't have to engage in that mess at the beginning. It got me thinking. How's the weather? Slavia stood right before me. How does she manage to sneak up unnoticed? Thank God this is not Olga Dmitrievna. Fine. Those were the only words I managed to squeeze out of myself. I thought I'd find you here. Why? I'm not sure, it's just... She looked up at the sky. There are fewer people around here. Does Slavia really think I have some sort of social phobia? On second thoughts, she actually has a good reason to think so. And what are you doing here? Looking for you? Oh. She smiled again, but this time her smile looked a bit different. A little friendlier, I guess. Me? Why? Can't you guess? I braced and prepared for a harsh lecture. I understand that you're guilty to a lesser degree than Uliana. Now the camp leader's assistant is defending me. I felt even more pathetic. Damn, get serious, we're not playing bad cop, good cop here. But if I grant that you aren't gonna help her, you can at least help me. Saying that, Slavia looked up at the sky again. I wonder what she's looking up there. And what do I need to do? We have to reorganize the books in the library. It's way better than disciplinary enslavement together with Uliana. And anyway, it was an offer I couldn't refuse. I'm all at your service, Mademoiselle, or Madame. She laughed. Then follow me, monsieur. In a couple of minutes we're in the library. But, what about helping nurse? With Lena? In a couple of minutes we are in the library. All the way I kept looking around in fear of meeting Olga Dmitrievna. It looks like Slavia didn't notice my anxiety. And still, it's quite odd that she hasn't scolded me. Well, if we are to continue our analogy, Slavia is definitely the good cop. When we went inside, gleaming sunlight streamed through the windows of the library, with a myriad of dust particles dancing in the beams. This is special library dust, with that distinctive smell that you can never confuse with anything else. These microscopic pieces of the moribund collected works of Marxism, Leninism, and classics. That's interesting. Does the dust near the fiction shelf smell similar to the dust near the books on physics and chemistry? You start with those rows? Slavia pointed at the bookshelf near Lenin's sculpted head. Okay, but what exactly do I have to do? Just remove the books from the shelves and put them on the floor. We'll dust them and we'll put them back. By looking at this dust, reading is hardly the pioneer's favorite activity. Any idea where Xenia might be? Don't know, she probably went somewhere. Strange. It appears that there are just two places in the world where one can meet Xenia, the library and the canteen. I got into gear. I guess I've never handled so many books in at one time in my entire life. Anyway, I'm much more used to reading from a computer screen or a tablet. Firstly, there's no need to pay for electronic books, and secondly, you cannot find anything in printed form. How is it going? Asked Slavia, standing behind the bookshelf. It's okay, it's going little by little. Have you read anything about that? About what? Well, about communism. Nah, I'm kind more into historical books. And adventures. Me too. Well, historical literature wasn't exactly my favorite, but the class struggles under socialism was definitely no match for it. Hey, don't hold a grudge against Juliana. I don't. Indeed, I felt that my head ego mostly recovered from the incident at the canteen. Besides, I managed to cleanse myself of the lunch leftovers in the forest lake. It's not like she's doing all that out of spite. Out of spite or not, one should think through one's own actions. Whatever. I kept moving around dozens of books written by people totally unknown to me. I am gonna forget who they are in a minute, and I will never get to know what they were writing about. That is the doom of many writers, to become a forsaken set of letters in a hardcover on a bookshelf in the library of a non-existent pioneer comes reality. Alright, let's cut the episode here. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the future. Bye.